the only reason why I was able to accomplish everything that I was able to accomplish, especially within the last 5 years, is because I had the right people pouring into me every single day. Man, I said 100,000 cars in Barbados. And I said 100,000 cars. I just said 100,000 cars on the road, 20 a pop, $2 million. I can resign from buying that suite and go and watch 100,000.
Welcome to Gems from Friends. This is a podcast where we'll be having conversations with entrepreneurs, creators, and young professionals. I hope you enjoy this episode. Stay tuned.
My name is Dario Greenidge. I consider myself to be a serial entrepreneur. I consider myself to be someone who is on a journey to just turn a dream into reality, and in the process of that, hopefully create a future and an environment so that others would not necessarily have to go through the grind that I had to go through. So one of my purpose, I think, in life ultimately is to be able to, live such a purposeful life that it becomes an inspiration and hopefully an example that others could follow, and hopefully give them a smidgen of hope and possibly the desire not to give up on their own dreams and aspirations.
Wow, that's a big task.
Yeah.
Well, congrats to that, and thanks for coming through. As you're the first person in the space.
Mm-hmm. And the space sweet. The space real sweet.
Thank you, man. It was a lot of work.
I could see.
When did you know that you wanted to do this? In terms of when you started your business, when was that time that it hit you this is what I want to do?
I think, fortunate for me, when I was about 16 years old, as soon as I left school, I got a job at a commercial bank. And because when I started to work at the bank, I was exposed to many different areas of business and many different people in business. Mm-hmm. I developed a desire for, firstly, the freedom that these persons have, right? And freedom more so in terms of I guess it was just a aura almost that these persons had, because it wasn't really, because I didn't really see much at that time in terms of what these persons were making, but I certainly saw a level of freedom and a level of I want to say it seems as though these people lived a life of purpose. Mm-hmm. And that was something that was, for me, in the bank, because a lot of people in the bank, as much as you think people in the bank in the call and they're feeling good, a lot of people in the bank at that stage was not necessarily the most happy people,
right,
or happiest of people. But certainly seeing these business people and seeing how they operate, it just seemed like something that made sense. And bit by bit, I remember the bank had a entrepreneurship competition where you had to come up with this business idea. And I came up with the idea to sell air fresheners, but I used to make them from soap. I used to grate up soap, put it in those small packaging, add these scents, and that was my first business idea. And I ended up winning the competition in the bank. And that kind of got my feet wet, and I was like, yo, I could do this entrepreneurship thing. And from then on, I was like, all right, I started to develop this burning desire to create stuff and to dream about stuff and to create it and make it into a reality. And I think that's really where the whole concept of entrepreneurship was given birth.
But out of all things, why air freshener?
I had a dream one night. That's how you think it came.
Just from a dream.
From a dream. It was, we had to come up with the entrepreneurial ideas. And I had a dream one night that I started these air fresheners. I remember I used to go to summer camping during the summer, and we used to create arts and craft and that kind of thing. And we did a project one time where we created an air freshener from soap. And I was like, yo, why do that at summer camp? Maybe I could add some flair to it. Because in the dream, I added all these different flair components to it. And I just did that in reality, where I created the air freshener from the soap, and then I used to stitch together these. I never remember when I used to do the little napkin boxes to put in your car.
Yeah.
Like this, and it's a wool that I used to stitch together. Yeah. So I did all those things, put people's name in it, put color coded, all that kind of stuff, and that's where the idea came from, and that's what gave birth to the whole entrepreneurial spirit.
So tell me about the name of your business, how you come up with Shine. I mean, Shine is fairly simple, but when I hear Shine, it's almost like, okay, it does what it sounds like.
Yeah. I can't even remember how I first got the name Shine, but I remember thinking at that time, I read something online at the time that said if you develop in a business, the name has to reflect exactly or has to give the first impression
Right.
on hearing it as the way it do. And I think Shine represented at that time what I wanted to do, which is in the car space. And at that time, I just wanted to clean 100,000 vehicles. I just wanted to wash 100,000 cars. So
How
I
you
think,
just get the passion to want to wash
but
100,000 cars?
it came from a conversation. One day I was in a conversation with some men, entrepreneurs again, that I was connected to.
Right.
And the man was talking about how much vehicles on the road. The man said 100,000 cars in Barbados. And I said 100,000 cars? At 20 a pop, that's $2 million a year. If everybody washed the car once a year, so I could be a millionaire in a year. Because at 21 years old, I thinking, I could wash 100,000 cars myself.
Right.
I literally did not really put the real quantum mechanics to it to say, well, can I really wash 100,000 cars myself? Or, you know, I didn't look at it from a practical standpoint. I just said 100,000 cars on the road, 20 a pop, $2 million. I can resign from buying that suite and go and wash 100,000 cars.
So what do you think your differentiator was when you first come into your market? What made you different than the others?
Self-belief. I just believed that I had something different to offer. At that time, the market, as I used to call it, it was very analog. Nobody wasn't using, we talking 2010, so social media certainly was not what it is now. Digital marketing is certainly not what it is now. And I felt at that time that I could have added a young vibrance to the actual market. So using social media, using digital media, introducing new technology to the space, because at that time nobody wasn't really doing like some of the detailing services that we wanted to do when we first started. So I just felt as though I could have added some young energy to it. And remember, 21 years old, I felt as though I could have taken over the world. So anything at that stage I was doing, I felt as though I was a superhero doing it.
So you had any doubts at any time on your journey? Like any times that you said was like, nah, let me look for a plan B?
When I first started, I wouldn't say I had doubts, but about a week in, I remember, no, I lie. About 2 weeks in, when I realized it's a little harder to get people to come and bring the car than I really thought. I actually questioned my decision of resigning from anybody. And the truth is, a lot of people at that stage was questioning me. So, like, my mother was like, Dario, why would you resign from your good job to go and wash cars? Because I literally, if I resign from the bank a Thursday, I started business a Friday. I went home the Thursday and told my mother, look, tomorrow, I ain't getting back to work. I get wash some cars here in Black Rock. And she was like, what? Why would you leave your good job to go and wash cars? You never know them with the business, da, da, da. So after a week or two in the business, I did start to get some doubts, and I started to question my decision. And the truth is that it brought me to a space where it was like, am I really making the right decision here? But at the same time, I did not want to prove the persons that doubted me right. So I used that to almost create a fuel for myself and a facade, really.
Right.
To live in a space where every day I felt as though the dream was coming true, even though in reality it may not have been.
But you just want to prove people wrong.
You just didn't want to fail, and then people would be like, see, I tell you that you couldn't get that business thing, do man, you should have stick at your job at the bank and da 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 da. So
from a perspective, like let's say you were working in a bank, and some people would see that as a prestige thing, calling tie, decent job, and then to go and wash cars. Like how you felt personally, like when that transition.
I created an illusion for myself. So when I worked at the bank, I was, very, very smooth and how I dressed and stuff like that. And I transitioned that same thing to my business. So I first started with long pants on, rubber boots, shirt push inside, branded shirt, da 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 da. And I remember somebody coming and said, "But why you dress it so special to wash cars?" And I was like, "But that's not what we're doing here. I'm trying to build a business." That I said, "But you only washing cars though." And it did make me feel a certain type of way. But I was so caught up in the illusion of what I wanted to create that it didn't faze me.
Right.
And I felt as though I always felt deep down inside that I was going to be able to do something bigger and do something better. It was just a matter of time. So I really didn't let what I was doing stop me from being who I was in the business.
Yeah. So you brought your game to car washing
Yeah.
and change it.
A certain
And
level
change
of
the
finesse.
image.
Yeah.
I like that. There's one thing that I got asked though, like, because I think you look into marketing as an important thing.
Mhm.
How do you come up with your content for social media?
Boy, I wish I could tell you that that is an elaborate process. At this stage, I literally, and I tell people, I am in love with my business. I would never say that I always had a passion for cars and I am a car man, a car enthusiast. Da, 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 da. I am just in love with my business and being able to develop it and create different things in it every single day. So because of that, it is on my mind constantly. And I could literally be at work and an idea just float out the sky and hit me, and I'd be like, yo, that was a good idea for a video. And, I go and start putting it together and make it happen.
Right.
And that happens 24/7 because I am literally consumed by it. And I am not ashamed to say that I'm consumed by my business. As much as people might say it's not a good thing to be so consumed in business and that kind of thing. You should have different things happening in your life. I'm consumed by my business.
Right.
And because of that, it is easy for me to constantly create ideas, to always be thinking about ways I can develop it, thinking about ways I can make it better. So that's really where the creative idea comes from. It's not that I don't consider myself a true creative. I am just in love with what I do every single day.
But I think you got the business this far, and I think that you got some level of creativity going on.
Yeah.
Because you come up with the branding, you come up with
Yeah.
the content, and it means you're still in the game.
Yeah, for sure. And the truth is that I'll tell you something. I really can't take all the credit because over the years I've been able to, and I always say like it's important for entrepreneurs to have good mentorship. And at first when I started, I didn't have good mentorship. As a matter of fact, I didn't have anybody around me to run ideas by. But I've met some people over the years that have become songbirds, have become mentors, have become, advisors, and like it is so important for us as entrepreneurs to have people in our space that almost reaffirms whatever dream or aspiration we may have, because it allows us to be able to, yes, have someone that you may feel some support from, but you also feel as though you're doing it on your own. You feel as though you got an idea, you could run it by somebody, you could get somebody perspective, you could get somebody input, and that to me has really shaped the way how I've been able to design the business, or as I always say, how we've been able to design business. I don't take the credit for myself,
I got you.
And it's really because I have so many people that I've met over the years that have been instrumental in just nourishing the idea and telling me, "Man, Dario, that's a good idea," or maybe Dario, that's impossible to do. But by telling me that, I can find a way to do it still,
Right.
So,
But you would lean in towards the people that were encouraging you the most.
definitely. I think you need. I heard a quote recently on TikTok that said you need people around you that believe or see you in even a bigger way than you see yourself.
Right.
And I think that is so important. Like it's so important that you got people around you that's almost feed into, and I don't want to feed into your ego, but feed into your dreams, feed into your aspirations, and allow you to be able to exist in your, because I dream a lot, to allow you to exist in that dream that you may have.
So you talk about like you are saturated by your business, right? So do you believe in work-life balance? Is that exist in your world or no?
Yes. So I believe, you work hard, you play hard. That's a reality. But at the same time, like I actually don't see anything wrong with being consumed with something that you literally are creating, and you literally think that could possibly change the space that you're in, the people that are around you, and the world that you live in. And that's just the way I feel. And it kind of impacts, because on a personal side, it would impact your relationship. You gotta find somebody that understand that grind and are willing to be a part of it. But as an individual, like I don't see how I could develop my business without being totally consumed by it. And when I think about people who I aspire to be like, the Jeff Bezos and that kind of guys, like at some stage they had to be totally consumed by what it is that they're doing.
It was a sacrifice.
Yeah, and it is a sacrifice. It's a major sacrifice, but I believe that you gotta put in. There's a time and a place for everything, and there's a time that you gotta put in that sacrifice and be willing to just put your head down. And be willing to. You can lose some people. You can hear people say, "Man, you should be getting some more sleep, or you should be spending some time in the fats and doing this and that." But you got to know what you're trying to achieve at the end of the day.
Do you believe that there's a relationships out there that can empower you to be even more, to have more energy in business and to up the level?
Yeah, definitely. And I'll tell you something. You see conversations and spaces like this, I think are critical to people being able to, are people determining how far they get in business. One of the things that we don't have as Barbadians is that we don't have spaces that first generation entrepreneurs especially could go into and could thrive and could exist with each other and could share ideas, could share fears, could share challenges and share opportunities as well. And if we had more of that almost ingrained in us, we would be unstoppable as individuals. Because the truth is that we got real talent, we got real talented people, but we just don't have the cultivation or spaces that cultivate that talent. And I think it is, people say, man, it's a responsibility of the powers that be, the government, That's a joke. It is our responsibility as people that want.
Yeah, everybody always
stuff.
want to point the finger at somebody else.
If you want something in life, you got to people talk about finding a tribe, you got to literally hunt the people that are going in the same direction that you are going in, or want the same things you want. And we got to make a decision to say, look, we can surround ourselves with each other, we can be there for each other. As Jay-Z said, we all each other's crutches, that way we never fall. That's how we got to operate. Because that's the only real way that we could exist and thrive when there are challenges, and the only real way that we could take advantage of the opportunities. So yes, we definitely got to surround ourselves with like-minded people, with people that are going in the same direction, and people who just want to see the other person in his space succeed, as opposed to people who can be like, man, that one future got a podcast space that real sweet, I can build one of them just like him. Nah.
But you think it's about it. You say surrounded like 3 times, and I didn't want to say anything. But it was like, nah, I gotta definitely bring this up. You was on my page today.
Yeah?
No, I'm asking you, were you on my page today?
Pause
I put some in on threads today, right? And it said, dreamers, you got to be surrounded by other dreamers, or you're gonna sound like a crazy person when you start to talk about your visions.
There you go.
Then you may be asked to dim your light and deprive your community and yourself. That's why I put it today.
Yeah, and that's so true, because if you think about it practically, people that, and I don't want to say envious or jealous, but people that are can't share the same vision as you, would almost downplay your idea.
For sure.
More few reasons to say, man, that ain't man, this ain't cool, that ain't da. So you can't, as much as you might need a couple of them to put some perspective.
Yeah.
That ain't what you need. We need people that are going forward like us to be able to spend more time around each other.
It's true. Think about the dream that you had, and you come and you and tell somebody that you had this dream, and it's like, nah, boy, that won't work. But the dream was given to you. It wasn't given to them.
Correct.
So that's one of the things you gotta think about. Like, even though you got doubters around you had a dream. It was your vision. So it's your duty to go there and to make it unfold and make it real.
Dream Real is your brand.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because they got people there as dream killers. And I'll tell you something. I remember when I was first going to set up this new location, I took the idea, my full business plan, to a banker. And I was just, trying to get some feedback. And man, he asked me a question. He said, listen, why would you want to expand your business to this scale? And once upon a time, I would have been insulted by a man asking me a question like that. And I said, listen.
What kind of question is that, though?
No, but I say, you know what? That response is, listen, you're the wrong person to have this conversation with.
For sure.
Because already I could see that you thinking, because you seeing me as I am now and thinking, boy, this is too much for this youngster here. But really and truly, this is just the beginning for me. And that's why maturity is interesting, because I had a point in time in life that I hear that idea and I would be getting ballistic, like, I can't believe that this man. But I've come to realize that everybody will not share your vision. Everybody will not see it. And the truth is,
Yeah.
you don't want everybody to see it
Right.
because you want to be able to establish those that are like you and those that will just have to consume the
Yeah.
things that you have to offer.
Yeah. There's always going to be the chosen ones. you
Yeah,
know?
and I love. The truth is, I love it. I love to, and that's why when I meet other entrepreneurs and they give me, I just want to hear. I just ask them, "What's your grandest? Give me your grandest vision of yourself or your business." I want to hear what you capable of doing next week or tomorrow or next year.
Yeah.
That's already in the bag. Tell me what you would tell me if you had in an ideal world, what would you really want to accomplish with yourself or with your business or with your projects or whatever the case?
Right.
Because that is really what I want to feed into.
Yeah.
I want to feed into the dreamer in someone, not necessarily because the truth is that it isn't hard to accomplish stuff. You just gotta be committed. You be determined. You find the right resources. Things happen, but it is having having that attitude towards big dreams and towards big goals that we really need to embellish almost, especially for young people, because I find young people know, as much as we live in a world where we see dreams come true every single day, and they may talk it as though they think it can happen. A lot of people doubt themselves because we ain't got enough examples of persons like yourself that actually went out there and stuck to whatever it was that it was doing and saw it through to the end.
Yeah,
We ain't got enough
yeah.
examples of people who do that, who are committed to a cause and make it happen. And that is what we need in order to be able to set a true example for the next generation.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So we're on the same page. And one of the things that annoy me the most, or that I think is very dangerous, is when people start to make themselves shorter to fit in. And like I think it's something that I realize in Barbados especially, like they don't want to upset nobody. You know what I mean? They want like walk lightly.
Yeah, walk
Right,
totally
tend to
lane.
start to get too tall or shine too bright or whatever it is, you know,
Pull
because
back.
they don't want people to say, "Oh, you feel like you was all of that," or you feel who you think you is to think this and think that, and then there's then go back inside and close the curtain, and then but you gotta think about it. Think about when you do that. Think past yourself and
Yeah.
think about the people that you were born to serve, the community that you're supposed to give back to, and up that level. But you allow a couple low, hearsay and people coming in your ears and saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. One of the things that we got to remind people is that they got people out there that supporting them. But I find in Barbados supporters are quiet and the haters are loud. So that's one of the other things, right? So like when I first started this whole podcast thing, I was doubting myself too. I mean, a speaker, I don't really like to talk. The podcast is about talking.
Correct.
But I was like, I had to look past myself and I said, well, look, I got to think about what people can get from it and about me no more. You know what I mean? It's past me. So, and then when I put out a couple episodes and whatever, people would see me in the streets and say, yo, I get so much inspiration from this. I get ideas from that. Keep doing what you're doing. And, you still got a little chat in your head, but you're talking beer junk. You know what I mean? But, but you just got like tuning to the frequency that is higher. I ignore all that other chatter, but even yourself as a self-doubter or whatever the case should be, and other people not be telling you that they ain't going away. This Barbados, somebody who want names, so people want things to laugh at and make them feel good. Nobody want to hear this deep
Drama.
stuff. You know what I mean? So I think that is important that when we see somebody winning, we gotta celebrate. Like that, because we know what that would do for us, so we gotta pass it on to the others that are coming up. So that was pretty much the point. That was
and there's a level of selflessness to it because as always, I mean, like for instance, you have a great responsibility. You have offspring, you got a son, and I think it's one thing to live a life to be an example for others, but you see when you got a son or a daughter that you got to live a life so that they will be almost inspired not to just to be like you, but to almost to be better, to
be
continue
better.
from.
They're the upgrade.
Yeah,
You gotta
and-
get them
and
something
that's-
to upgrade from.
Yeah, and that's really where you see the value. The fact that what we putting in, the work that we putting in now, we could never really benefit from the work that we putting in our lifetime. You might be able to have some, a certain standard of living and stuff like that, but all the work that we putting in now is really going to benefit those that are gonna come after us.
Yeah, selflessness, and that's what it's about. Because you said something where if you ask somebody like, was your big grand dream. If your dream is something that you can accomplish in your lifetime, you're not dreaming big enough.
I agree with that 100%.
You know what I mean? Your dream has to be something that is beyond
Yep.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes, that's how you become immortal in a
Yeah.
sense. You just start a legacy
Yeah.
and it keep going and going. You know what I mean?
That is how you become immortal. So that's it right there for sure.
So wait, you got children?
Nah,
Okay.
I ain't practice mode.
You
Don't put on
practice.
camera.
We gotta keep that. We gotta keep that. No, what I want to find out from you now, like, is like, what is a productive day for you? How your days start? We get some tactics now.
Yeah. I start my days I'm an early riser. So I go to bed early as well. So I wake up at say 3:30 every morning. I go in the gym from 4 o'clock, 4 to 5, gym, come back home, get ready, head straight to work. I don't go to work on mornings with a whole, I wouldn't say I go to work with a to-do list, but I go to work to be in my environment at work, to settle my brain, to start to make a plan for that particular day, to kind of get myself in a frame of mind where I'm ready to deal with whatever challenges. Because the truth is, every day is be out in fires. Every day is something, nothing don't go smooth on. I've never had a day in business where it was like, yo, today was a smooth day. Never.
That would probably be boring now, right?
Like, there you go. So, after I do my little social media thing in the morning, then I usually start the day, start to call customers to make sure that everybody on point for their appointments, making sure my guy is ready to face the day. If I can do a huddle on that particular day on my team, I can do a huddle on that day with the particular team. And then the day starts, the day ends, and then ends because I don't think as an entrepreneur your day does truly end.
Nah.
You just probably start working and move on to something else in the evening, and then you're going. For me, I enjoy having a peaceful evening though. After work is some food somewhere. I haven't cooked since COVID, so I stimulate the economy. I eat out every day.
Jeez.
So I can find
that's a good life.
Man, I know. That's knowing people that own food spots. So I can eat some food spot, get food, head home. And I just like to chill out on my couch on the evenings, to be honest. So I got some music playing in the background, eat some food, and I literally replay it every day in my head after at the end of the day.
Right.
Replay the day, see what I need to do for the next day, see what I could have done better on that particular day.
Mm-hmm.
And then, somewhere in between there, I might got a couple of friends that might call and we can have a chat about something business related or something about life. And then it's time to get some Z's and to repeat it the next day, basically.
Yeah. So you have any non-productive days? Like, what do days look like?
I have had one non-productive day, I would say, and I can't even call that. So no, I haven't had a non-productive day in 13 years. That's the truth. I haven't had a day where it was like, and I did nothing, didn't answer my phone, I didn't do anything. I am looking forward to one of those days soon, though.
Right. So you don't take vacation or anything?
I tried to take a vacation because I usually go to a trade show every year.
That sounds like work. But
yeah, it's work. But I try to get a vacation in between there. It's just turned into a workplace scenario. It don't really be a vacation. But the truth is that I don't desire to be. Again, I love what I do so much. I don't necessarily desire to be on vacation. I desire for downtime.
Right.
I desire for time, with your friends and that kind of thing. But I don't necessarily need time to have my feet up and to do nothing. I don't know what I would do in a space where I would literally have nothing to do.
Right. So you talk about you go to the gym. You think that is an important part of your lifestyle?
Yeah, that's my therapy. That's for me to go in and you get a little workout. You talk some foolishness with your people, and I enjoy the whole process of you get in the gym for a couple of weeks and you see some improvement, then you fall off for a week because you ain't waking up on time. And
or you're eating out too much.
Or you're eating out too much. Either way. But that's my therapy. Along with scuba diving and stuff like that. Those are things I like to do to just bring me to a certain degree of equilibrium.
How much people you have on your team?
We got about four persons right now.
So if somebody come to you for a job, what are the things that you look for in that person?
The first thing I look for is somebody who's willing to learn. And I got a soft spot for young men who are hungry for an opportunity because I see myself in them. And I look for somebody who's willing to learn. I look for attitude, people who are willing to to play a part in a team, people who are willing to listen, people who are conscious of their own development and conscious of more importantly, what it is that we are trying to do as a company. But a lot of it I don't hire a lot. I don't usually hire people based on credentials. It's literally based on how the energy
It's
is
the
in the
attitude,
interview and the
vibe, and
attitude.
so-
Yeah. And usually, to be honest with you, I'm willing to take a chance on young men because I think any young man is capable of becoming his own greatness, but he needs two things. He needs somebody to be an example, and he needs somebody to give him the opportunity. And that's just how I see things, and it might be a personal view that I bring into business, and maybe from an HR perspective you shouldn't, because everything should be a personality test or something at this stage. But I just like to I like to have a conversation first before you do anything, and then based on that conversation and how they operate within that conversation.
I think I think it's good. This is why you are entrepreneur, because it gives you freedom.
Yeah.
And you know what your core values are. You know what you look for, and you basically just, there is not a manual that you gotta follow or somebody else black and white book, but it's pretty much what align with your core values,
Correct.
and that's it. You know what I mean? That's how I see it.
Yeah, and the truth is that I've seen people who got all the credentials and taught the good talk and that kind of thing, and just didn't have the right attitude. And then I've had my team leader now, as a matter of fact, he's a guy when he came very shy, didn't know anything to do with cars, didn't have a driver's license, and like that. And I say, I can pour into you, I can invest in you, because I saw a willingness in him. And today he's the best polisher, I would say, in Barbados.
Wow.
I gave him a car, he got a driver's license, different things like that. And the reality is that I just saw something in him that I was willing to bet on, and I did just that. And the truth is, he's got my back 100%. And,
That's purpose right there, buddy.
Yeah. He's got my back 100%, and I would have his in the same way. So
What feeling do you want your customer to walk away with when they come to you?
I love to see my customers laugh, and that's because there's so many reasons in the world why people probably wouldn't be able to smile or to laugh, and I just love to see people happy. I like to see people come and just feel good about the experience, whether they're buying any store or whether they're getting the car detail. I just want to see that look on the face, where when they look on the vehicle and say, this is really a really good job. Or when they buy any store, I be in the store talking crap and they pretend to be Texas Black and all that. That's I just love to see the happiness and the glow on my customers' face and the expression when they visit the operation.
What's the inspiration behind the Texas Black thing? That's what it is?
Texas Black.
Texas Black. What's the inspiration behind that?
Texas Red is actually so they got a song called Big Iron, which my partner in the gym gave me, because every morning when I get in the gym, I just be like,
Big Iron.
Big Iron. It's a Western kind of song. But I got a good brethren of mine that's been in gym with me on mornings, and he knows every song that was ever written and ever recorded. So I was saying, man, I need a song for today. And one day he said, man, I can get one, Big Iron. And I said, yo, just from the song, I created this little video about Big Iron, and I pull out these foam cannons and thing in the video. But the man in the song is called Texas Red. I just called my character Texas Black because I had a black cowboy hat.
Right,
and
right.
People just love it. So
Right, right.
it's something that I just feed into right now to bring some fun and some kicks to the actual space.
So when I hear your stories, it sounds more than just coming and having a car wash. It's an experience. It's an
definitely.
experience for the customers and for your team as well.
Yeah, I mean, the medium of the business is just cars, but the reality is that we sell solutions. At Shine Automotive, my focus is to create a company that provides a range of solutions for people who happen to own cars. So whether it's you need your car detailed, you need it serviced, you need to import a car, you need to buy accessories, whatever it is that you need, we want to be able to provide it. And if you can't do it in-house, we want to be able to facilitate it with one of our partners as well. And from that, we want to move to another level. Like, one of my biggest dreams in the business is really to have my customers, is to take the company public and to have my customers become my shareholders. And that's one of the things that we're focusing on looking at right now, because I don't really want to just build a business that stops at me or stops at my offspring or my team. I want to build something that my customers could eventually say, you know what, I want a piece of shine, and tell their friends, and they become marketing pieces for the business as well. And the truth is that I'm willing to do, even if it doesn't work out, right? I'm willing to take whatever comes with making that a reality, because somewhere along the lines, I think that needs to be done in order for it to trigger other businesses to think, you know what, I could take my company public. I could actually be listed on, whether it's a junior stock exchange in Barbados, I could be listed on a junior stock exchange, because the only real way that we could develop our idea to the fullness is if we incorporate the masses. We live on an island, 300,000 people. We gotta get everybody involved.
Yeah.
And that's just the way how I see my business. I want to get everybody involved, whether you're a customer, a shareholder, a supplier, a stakeholder. I want everybody to be involved in the development of the company.
That's good thinking, bro.
Yeah.
That's good thinking. What was one of your major challenges?
We got time for that?
Give me like the first that comes to mind.
Boy, when I first started, I would say access to resources, not just capital, but resources in general. Because I want to say I didn't have legal support. I didn't have, certainly didn't have enough capital to be able to run the business and to do what I wanted to do. I didn't have certain technical support and technical services that I really would have needed in those initial stages, or would have yielded an earlier return in those initial stages. So access to resources would have been one of the greatest challenges for me in business. And that's one of the other things that I would love us to be able to fix, because I sure you got in our peer group, I sure we got people that is lawyers, we got people that's marketing professionals, we got people that is HR specialists.
Yeah.
But you know what? We don't have a space in Barbados where entrepreneurs could go and say, I need this resource. I may not have the capital to pay for it, but I'm willing to give them some level of value from my business. There's no exchange for that.
Yeah.
We should, and one of my dreams is to create, I got an idea for something called Crowded, which is just a platform where entrepreneurs could be crowded with all the resources that they need, whether it be money, whether it be technical support, whether it be marketing, whether it be legal, whatever the need.
Yeah.
You got a specialty, you're an HR specialist, you could provide your service to a company for a return, not for money, but you may be able to get a couple of shares in the company, you may be able to get a future product, future service, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And I think we need something like that, because it's a problem for every entrepreneur.
Well, we ain't gonna share that idea because they're working on the same thing.
Yeah. Well, here, the truth is that I'm willing to, and that's why
and that's how it starts. You gotta do it together.
Yeah, and that's why I talk about things freely, not because I frightened that people call me an idea, but I believe there's no design.
Yeah, but I get past the point. It don't even have to be my idea. I just want to see it done.
Yeah.
I just kind of need to, and they see a void, and I just want to see it filled. You know what I mean? Because it can help everybody.
For sure.
And so for my idea, I was thinking more like it's almost like a dating app.
Yeah,
but for businesses. People, for businesses, you know what I mean?
I like that idea.
You know what I mean? So you come into this forum and you exchange ideas, you talk about, what you want to do, and then, you pair it with this person, pair it with that person. Because people we need people.
Yeah.
We can't do it alone.
Can't.
I mean, like, there's a saying.
If you want to go...
There's a saying. I was hoping that you didn't remember. Because old age kicking in.
We got one day. If you want to go fast, you go something. If you want to go far, you go.
If you want to go further, you gotta go together.
Together, yeah.
But if you want to go, I can't remember what the go fast thing is though. But that's a burnout situation. But if you want to go further, then you go together.
For sure.
And I think that's what we got to get into.
Yeah, and you see, we on the same page because we had an same direct. So I'm happy to hear these things because, again, like this is what's needed, and I don't think I hope that one day you would truly understand the importance of starting this. You might not see it now, but I sure 10, 20, maybe 30 years from now, you can then derive or see the true value of what what you actually started today. Because trust me, this will probably not yield the true return immediately.
Right,
But
right,
this
right.
will
I'm
be
aware of that.
this will be the spark to light the fire, and this will be something that people are gonna be talking about for a little while because there's gonna be the space that entrepreneurs will literally be able to, as you said, meet the match
Yeah.
and create partnerships.
But the thing is about it is that I didn't choose this. This is one. I don't know if this ever happened to you, but this keep tailing me. It keep following me. Like, don't matter how much I try to ignore it and do other things and be distracted or whatever, it keep coming back into my dreams. Just like your dreams, right? And it's like, all right, let me do it. And they try to get into different areas and it don't work. It's like, no, you need to do this. And I was like, but how to start? Like, just use what you have, start where you are, and just get going. Just do it every day and be consistent. So this is the beginning of that.
and I happy that you started actually because I know the importance of it. And you know I could only imagine having this conversation 10 years from now where I tell you, yo, future boy, this look at what it's turned into.
Yeah, for
Look
sure.
at what this was able to spark and we little Barbados.
So I want to put that question back to you now. Like, what is your big dream?
Boy.
I think you go first and then tell you mine. Or you want me to tell me?
All right, give me yours. Give me your. Mine might take the whole evening, so you go ahead first.
No, mine's ain't that big. In terms, not when I say big, I mean not long to explain. It's pretty much like I have a gift, and that gift is I'm a light seeker, a talent scout, and a pathfinder. You understand? I could look at someone and it can tell you that person got the quality that is needed even before they know it. And I have shown that with DJ Puffy, for instance, right? And then there's this other people that I call, and it's like I name Future for a reason, right? Yeah. So like I could look at somebody and it's like, you know what, this person got it, and have to do it this way and that way, you know. So I think I refer to myself as like Professor X from X-Men, because a lot of people have superpowers, but they just need to understand the power and to learn how to use it. And I would like to create some type of platform or education system. And when I say a school, I ain't talking about like your traditional, conventional school. I'm talking about something in the future, right?
Right, obviously.
Futuristic, right? But the school system is just completely different, right? And that the way thinking about is going to completely change the game. And to enable people and not to just put them down a path and copy and paste the same thing over and over. First, you gotta find out what makes this person tick. Find that talent, and then how to groom that talent and expand that, and then teach them how to also inspire others as well. And that's how you grow. That's how you grow from branch to branch, leaf to leaf, and then you start to bear the fruit. And I think that's what my dream is. I don't know how it can happen, but I just starting and see how it goes. So you tell me yours now.
Boy, I think, and I'll speak about it as my purpose more so than my grand dream. And I think my purpose in life is to be part of the creation of an enabling environment for creatives, for entrepreneurs, for people who just got the ability to dream. I want to be a part of an ecosystem or a system where we give opportunity and we create a landscape where persons who dream and who have dreams feel as though it is possible. And I want to be able to use Shine Automotive as my business to be able to just set an example as something that literally started as nothing and has been able to become something, and then use that as a mechanism to inspire others, to paint a path for others to follow, and to ultimately create a resource that not only, as I said, not only benefits me, but benefits my team, my customers, and everybody that is within a reach of its existence, you know. And that is my purpose in life. Is I no longer, I tell people I no longer live for things that I want to do for me, but is for everything that could possibly happen as a result of my journey here on this earth, you know.
Wow, that's big. And and do you feel, well, I would tell you, for me, when I serve like that, it's like the biggest fulfillment. Instead of, like, if it's for myself, then it's not really fulfilling.
And I feel the same
evaporates.
Way. Yeah,
eventually.
I feel and I tell people, I wake up, I tell my guys all the time, I do not come to work for myself every day. If not, I would operate a lot different. I come to work every day and I do what I do every day because it benefits so many other people around me.
Yeah.
And I used to always say, man, I would love to be able to retire my mother. That used to be one of my dreams one day.
Right.
And it's still a focus of mine, but I actually want to make a greater impact because I've seen the need for persons like ourselves to set the example for other people and to not necessarily live a life where we think about ourselves, but we think about the future.
Big one. What is, because this is gems from friends, right? What is one gem that you wish you had or you knew when you first started that you know now?
But I'd say the importance of mentorship, the importance of having the right people in your space. That's one thing. I didn't see the true value of it when I first started, but today, the only reason why I was able to accomplish everything that I was able to accomplish, especially within the last 5 years, is because I had the right people pouring into me every single day.
Wow, so the theme for tonight is surround
yourself.
I was also, I tried to articulate what I was thinking when I came up with this, and it talks about sharing as well. Like, if you had all the power and you own this power and you're like the most powerful person in this group, does that really serve you if everybody else weak?
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking about that, where like if we need our community and this island to go forward, people who have influence and people who have the abilities, I think that they have to get to a point to understand they need to share. Because there's a quote that says, a rising tide raises all the ships. So imagine you got all this power, but then you still, because your surroundings ain't up to par. So then you still can't level up anyway.
No, and you hit the nail directly upon the head. I think it's important for, and that's why it's so critical for things like this to exist, because you can't, I truly don't believe that you can't have, you need to have, it needs to be an effort on multiple people's part for development and that kind of thing, for development to truly exist. We can't live in a space or in a society where it is just about one person winning and everybody else being losers. Nah. All that we got and all that we can win. That's just the reality.
Yep. There's a space for everyone. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up here, but thanks for coming through.
That's simple. It's really
convo.
I should be thanking you, actually. I should be thanking you for the opportunity.
No problem, man. And we should do this again.
For sure. And I look forward to having this, or having a similar conversation with you 10 years from now, where we just looking back at the impact that this.
Don't wait so long, man. Maybe get a little 3 to 5 years, and then we go to the 10.
Very enough.
All right, here's a wrap.
Respect everything.